So the speech that I'm giving on Friday is about getting started, regardless of your credentials, how much you've actually studied this, your fear level. Do you belong? Will people see you as a novice and question your credibility? He was 17 years old in high school and said, I need this. Let me create this. He's not a nutritionist. He's not a bodybuilder. And so I keep thinking about him. It's worth a couple $1,000,000 now. And he's just going to
That's
college.
amazing.
And
Okay.
yes, so the point of that is you got to get over that fear to jump in the pool.
You don't need permission.
Right. You have to start if you don't want to be disappointed down the road, or if you want to be in the ring. You got to make the mistakes, and they might be public, but you have to go.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us again on another episode of Don't Fucking Shrink, the podcast. And when I think about some of the stresses I face every day as a mom and sincerely just trying to do it all, I think about somebody who looks like they do it all. They definitely have it all together. They look good. They dance and just glow on stage. And with me today is Ellen Bryan. She is a lifestyle host. I got the pleasure of being on her television show a few months ago. And now she's turned lifestyle entrepreneur, or as I like to call supermom. Ellen has made a shift, and I love this, and I love her story, that she has two littles, and she had this thriving broadcasting career, and now pregnant with number 3. And I'm so excited because we had similar due dates. Ellen made this really bold, amazing choice as a mom to shift focus. And I think these are the conversations as moms, as professionals, that we need to be having. So I'm so excited to have Ellen here today. Hi, Ellen.
Hi. Thanks for having me. Good to see you again.
Yes, the shoe's on the other foot today, sort of. Well, we'll see. Yeah,
it's kind of nice. I'm just here.
Oh. So you're feeling good. You're glowing as always, but you're feeling good.
I have on compression leggings that go from my ankles all the way up to below my bra because everything hurts. So from here up, we're doing great. If you look at the baby bump down, everything is swollen. My spider veins are popping. It's an interesting, the third baby, just everything has happened sooner too. So it was like your body was like, oh, let's just give you all the symptoms earlier.
We know this dance. Yes. We know this dance already.
Yes.
And I shared with Ellen very candidly just a few minutes ago that depending on where I am on the pumping cycle of lactation as a mom is whether or not this shirt buttons in front. So I had to take some delicate measures to make sure the shirt stayed together because we're just an hour off a pumping cycle here.
Oh my gosh.
We have to dance, right? We have to show up as mom. We have to show up in our business, in our life. And it's really cool that you're sort of melding the two like I am right now together. What does that look like day to day?
I'm still figuring it out. It's been a whole month since I left the traditional broadcasting industry. And truly the first month, since I'm now at home most of the time, working from home, I couldn't go past a closet without being like, I need to weed through everything in there. So I have gone through every closet and drawer, the basements finally. And my September was clean the house. So I would work a little bit, a few hours, and then I'd go clean. So now is really the beginning of what this does look like. But it was a shift for so many reasons. And we can get to all of it if you want. But the broadcast industry is changing. My personal life was changing as well. And so it just seemed to be time. I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. And so I said, let's just try this, not making it any less scary, but here we go.
You're brave. You're not shrinking. And I think it's also the perfect time. I had a very candid conversation with my husband this morning because we're both working hard and he had to take the girls out of the house in order for me to podcast this morning and have some of these podcasts. And he's doing it. Good for him. But part of that is in the wake of all the responsibilities he has outside of the house and working and trying to find that balance together, which it sounds like you guys are in the same house doing a similar dance.
Right.
It really calls for the values or the prioritizing of the kids. This family is the show, right? Like, you used to have to drive all the way downtown to get ready for the show, right? But in all reality, no matter how important your job is outside of the house, right? The job is right here. This is the show. This is the one you have to show up for. How does shifting from 2 to 3 feel other than these nesting inclinations, right?
So I was telling you before we came on, my son had hand, foot, mouth last week when the daycare had an outbreak. So he had hand, foot, mouth. My daughter never got it, but they were supposed to go to my in-laws for our anniversary weekend. And so my in-laws were like, we really don't want to get hand, foot, mouth. I don't blame them. I don't blame them. Yes. So we kept my son, but they're like, if Amara's not, showing symptoms, we'll take her. So they took Amara. She came back last night. She was gone for 4 days. And I told my husband, we were eating dinner, and I said, everything seems elevated again. When you just have one in the house, he was just playing. I mean, he might have a tantrum every now and then, but there was no fighting over the toys. He could play with whatever he wanted. It was only one child asking me for things, one set of requests. And once my daughter came home, now we're fighting again, where she's telling him what to do and he's knocking down her forts. And just said,
it goes back to domination to terror.
They're very much in line with the birth order and all of that. And so I looked across the table at him at dinner. I said, everything was truly like, you add one more child and everything became so much more chaotic. I said, what's it going to be like with 3? Like, it's just, I imagine it's going to go up another notch. I don't know. But I'm from a family of 3, so this feels like a complete family to me. So I am looking forward to it. I feel like it's the final piece of our family. And I'm looking forward to that. The kids are excited for the baby to be here. But I am now bracing myself for how much louder is this house about to get.
And fuller. There's that story of, bringing all this in and then taking a few energies out and you're like, oh God, there's something missing. So I'm sure you're going to experience that too, that if baby goes for an overnighter to grandma and grandpa's, you're going to be like, oh, it's so quiet. Yes. And you come back and the vibration.
Yeah.
So you came from a family of 3.
Yes. I'm the youngest of 3 girls.
Do you think that prepared you for being mom?
I don't know. I didn't know if I wanted to be a mom for a long time. I really wanted to focus on my career. Yeah. I was not sure about motherhood because I knew what we're talking about today, that I would want to be very present. And my mom stayed home to raise us. Yep. And so I knew that was the nurturing I was given. I would want to do that for my children. When they get sick, I have the overwhelming feeling that I don't want to call in grandma to come help. I want to be the one. They want their mom. I want to be the one here with them. And I knew, though, if I was really going to focus on career, that would be hard. And I was, at the time, still reporting in the field, thinking I would do journalism and be traveling for a network to a different city every day. And once I met my husband, I had started to go on the path of, I don't think I really want to be in a different city every day. And someone else telling me where I'm going to go with my life and, where to be every day. And so that's when I thought, I met him. And then I thought, I think he wanted kids. And I was like, I do too. Then I saw it once we got together. So
it's funny how those circumstances shape, but we start in this hard line, right?
Yeah.
We're going to school. We're going to do broadcasting. We're going to do, right. This is what we're going to be.
Yeah.
And then life just sort of shapes and brings things to your awareness that you're like, oh, no. You know what? This is my new adventure. That being said, with 3, what is that adventure like growing out to be? You're a wellness person like me. That's one of the things we connected with is you're teaching classes. You are in the wellness space. You appreciate health in that regard. So what does that health look like? What does that grow out to be?
This pregnancy hasn't been as scary as what the first and the second, especially the first. Yeah. The second, you start to take a little bit more liberties because people tell you so much health-wise, fitness-wise. all the
It's
things
true.
you can't do, and they scare you into don't lift more than a bag of groceries or you're going to hurt your
Yep.
baby. Whereas this time I'm out there, I teach stroller strides a couple of days from now, body boost. I'm out there teaching and still doing fitness classes and lifting my 30-pound son. I don't have those same fears because it's your third time and you
Your
just have
body.
more knowledge. Right. Right.
You know your body. Yeah. That speaks to a lot of probably the health and fitness advice we get is that there's all these lines. There's, don't do this, don't do that. There's no shortage of well-meaning people telling you that you're never going to sleep again, which is probably pretty fair.
Right.
But you think about all these things that people sort of put into your psyche, it maybe unknowingly scaring you that you're never going to travel again because you have kids. You're never going to do this again, right? Or just wait until you're, and my job as a mom is to sort of like keep knocking those out of the park. Oh no, we are going to travel. Oh, we are going to find a way.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's such a big deal.
Yeah.
Any differences with this pregnancy as far as like what it brings up for you? The swelling is always fun, but
swelling.
Yes. Yeah.
It's bringing up a lot of things. I did have a moment right after we found out we were pregnant. We were dancing in the living room. It was my husband and my 2 kids, and I knew I was pregnant very early on. So nobody else knew, kids didn't know. And I had a moment when I thought, oh, this is it. Like, this is the family. But then there's also a moment with the third, at least, and you get it for your second as well. I think you're already taking care of a child. You're already busy. So it's not all about the baby. Sometimes I forget that I'm pregnant because you are so much living life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead.
And my OBGYN, I went in for, right now I'm still in the 4-week. I think now I start going every 2 weeks. And I said, I can't believe it's been 4 weeks already. And he said, it's just so funny once you have kids. The moms come in now who are pregnant and they're like, I can't believe time's going so fast this pregnancy. Whereas the first time you were just waiting and waiting for 9 months.
Yes. Oh,
to give birth.
You're waiting to become something, right?
Yes.
And I also have I have a sense of guilt sometimes when I think about it. Now that baby Tune is here in particular, I have this sense of guilt where I'm like, I'm missing out on putting her to bed, or I'm missing out on this because I'm busy breastfeeding or pumping or taking care of a diaper. And I think about that maybe that's like unwarranted guilt or not, but it's always like we had such a cool dynamic for 3.5 years before this other baby showed up. And now I'm like, is she feeling that? Is that, and maybe I'm overthinking it too, but where do you fall in that range? Because you have boy and girl, right?
Yes.
So is another boy?
We don't know.
Okay, good.
Wait, we're always surprised.
All right, well, then we're not going to announce that, but
no, I don't even know. I'm feeling girl because my pregnancy has been similar to my daughter, but that could mean absolutely nothing. So I really have no idea. I'm feeling that with my daughter the same way though, which is weird. The baby's not even here yet, but my son was ready to get out of his crib. He started crawling out of it. So we moved him into the big boy bed. His bedtime shifted a little later. So now instead of putting my son to bed and then my daughter having an extra hour of time with just me or me and my husband, or when I would go teach fitness, she would have daddy-daughter time and she loved it. Now we're all reading books together. They're going to bed together. And I think she's feeling it. It's just showing up slightly in different signs, school drop-offs, or just some of her tantrums now, not like her. Yeah. And so it does make me think about when the third comes along, especially I think things will change for my husband more than anything, because I've always been able to kind of manage the 2, but 3 sounds like I might need a little bit more help.
Oh, you can't man to man on this. You cannot man to man.
Yeah. Right.
So she's 4, right? Where's 4 now?
She's 4 and my son's 2. So we'll all be 2 years apart.
That's a lot of fun. Yeah. In those moments that you described, that tantrum, that constant resistance with the 4-year-old is I keep trying to, when she does something that I'm like, why did she do that? I'm like, because she's 4, she's 4, right? I like, that is my mantra every time where, she'll maybe isn't truthful about how something happened or whatever the case may be. I'm like, is this a sociopath? Am I raising a sociopath? I'm like, no, she's 4. She's 4. Like, this is, where
I just started reading Good Inside by Dr. Becky. I don't know her last name.
I love Dr. Becky. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I see her on social media. I followed her for years, but we're having trouble with shyness. We signed Amara up for dance and soccer, and she won't go.
Yeah.
Like she did the first time, no problem, no fear. And then was like, oh, this is actually scary. And now won't go in the dance studio. So we're kind of struggling in those ways. And so I started listening to Good Inside. I'm one chapter in, but I think it's going to be helpful because she talks about all this, how to handle the tantrums and things. So I'll let you know.
We need to have her on. I think we need to have her on the show. I'll bring you back and we'll do this show.
No, I'll just listen. Just tell me what I need to do.
It's great. And if you guys know who Dr. Becky is from Good Inside, it really is just perspective. And it's bringing you back to center and not letting you blame yourself, not letting you shame yourself, just looking at the production of what's going on in front of you for what it is and not taking it personally, because a lot of times we see a tiny reflection of ourselves, or we feel a little guilt in our child's behavior. Like, oh, you're right. We had to skip that thing she loves, or we pushed her too hard, or maybe she hasn't pooped in a few days. Like one of those things, like it's always your fault. And you're always like running through that Rolodex of like, how do I, put this back on track? But Dr. Becky is one of those sort of perspectives where you're like, you're a human being, you're Ellen first, right? And by being Ellen first and having this construct, you create that stability. And I think that's one of those things we forget as moms, that if we are constantly flexing and bending and pivoting, that too can create chaos in their world.
Yeah. She was talking about those boundaries. She was, you can, I think this is a social media post, like you can acknowledge, oh, you want juice while you're filling up their cup with water. Like you hold the bound, like you're still getting water, but oh, you wanted juice.
We're having water.
I understand. I'm not that far into it, but that's what I get from it so far.
I think I don't know. You grew up in Ohio, right? I grew up in central Pennsylvania. So I assume very similar in the fact that like we heard a lot of no's, right? It was like, no, right? And the great thing about this sort of perspective is you're not getting what you want every single time. And this is not permissive parenting, but at least you're being heard. Like the person hears what you're saying,
right? Appreciates
that that's what your want is. And then, starting from there, kind of teaching you how to negotiate from what, I have found in like, what, that's something we do on Saturday. That's something we do, whatever. What day of the week is it today? Oh, it's only Tuesday. All right. Well, juice is going to be on Saturday. That's really exciting. Let's look forward to that. And it's not like running and like out thinking them, but in some ways it is, right? Because if you're patient, if you're calm in your own body, you have that boundary or that perspective that it's not no every single time. They're not always being rejected, and it's okay to always ask me for things. But creating that sense of familiarity where it's like that's our Saturday thing. That's a thing we do Saturday.
Right.
What's your fun thing with your kids?
Well, they come, I teach a family fitness class Saturday mornings. It just ended though, so I shouldn't advertise it, but it did just end for the season.
Coming
starting
soon.
To get, meet us next spring. They love, my daughter thinks she teaches fitness because they would come and do that with me. And it's a great mom connection, mom group. They all bring their kids. So that has always been.
She gets to see you in your element. Yeah.
Yeah. That really like out of the house is a lot of fun. We spend a lot of time outdoors though. We at least do like the splash pad or whatnot, especially on the weekends, just go outside, get the energy out. And then I never miss, my husband has never put up a fight, and I always do books at night. And I love that. Like when they're snuggled, and now with like this huge baby bump and they're each in one side.
Everyone's got a pillow.
Yeah. They're all like, my son's been mad. He usually sat square in my lap, and I'm like, you have to sit on the side.
You're not gonna be able to see. You're not gonna be able to see the pictures anymore. Yeah.
But I ordered this chair that I read to them just right over here. And every night I read to them there every night. And I ordered it when I was in labor with my first child because my husband couldn't commit. He couldn't make up his mind about what chair we should get. And so when I was in labor, I was like ordering the chair. He can't say no to me right now. So it's like also this like chair your priority. That I ordered in that moment. Yes, I needed. It was the glider. It's a glider.
Yes.
And I just love to have, now it's the four of us in this chair that I ordered in that moment. It's really special. So I don't know if it's fun, but it's sweet. The sweet thing we do every day.
Well, I think reading is just one of those things too. And, there's so many studies that let us know that if we read, the whole world of education changes for them, or their whole ability, when it comes to language, when it comes to letter recognition, like all sorts of things, right?
Right.
So it's probably the easiest and best thing that you can do for a kid. If you have screwed up on everything else, nobody ate dinner that night, there was possibly some blood or some Band-Aids passed out later in the day, but you sat down and you read, like, that's one of my benchmarks during the day.
Really?
Is like, yeah, it really is, because it's sort of the culmination of the day.
Yeah.
We're all in the same space, so we didn't like disavow each other, right? Like, we're back in the same space again. And I have to tell you, like, one of the most empowering / vulnerable things I learned to do as a mom is to apologize.
To your children.
And sometimes that is, well, sometimes my husband too, but like, sometimes, but in reality, like, that says a lot about you, that you, in my mind, that you can say you're sorry and draw some actual perspective, because that would not have been something available in our generation, right? It was what it was. This would have been a hierarchy issue probably, right? But I remember, wow, I'm having an honest moment here. I remember 2 days ago, we had yesterday, actually, we had a moment where I needed to braid Aubrey's hair for a function at school. We were having cultural day, and apparently Anna and Elsa are part of our culture, so I had to braid the hair. Apparently, but
yes, they are.
That's what our culture is today. Yes. And so I'm braiding the hair. I'm also like, baby's crying. Like, there's a lot of things going on in my head, and I just exhausted, not sleeping, the whole thing, right? I took that really plasticky, light brush, because I realized that the braiding was not happening, and it flew. It flew. Like, it flew across the room. Nobody got hit. There was no ricochet. It was very, very, like, in my mind, this was the stimulus, right? Like, this is the thing that was keeping me from being successful. Like, right? And he just tossed it across the room. And instantly I was like, that is the dumbest thing I could have possibly done in front of her, right? Like, I was such an immature reaction, right?
Yeah.
But there's this huge value in, it gave me perspective during the day. I didn't sit on it all day long, but I was like, you know what? That was a really tough moment.
Yeah.
I'm not proud of it. I don't even know if she remembers it happened, because I'm sure there was something on a screen or something taking her attention. I don't even know if she saw me do it, but just in case she did, this would be a good conversation. So I waited till story time. Baby's down. I waited till story time. And I just said, Aubrey, I had a really tough moment. I had a really tough mom moment this morning, and I threw a brush. Do you remember? She's like, oh yeah. I'm like, and she did. She saw it. You shouldn't say a word. And I said, I'm really sorry. And she just tilts her head, looks at me with so much empathy. And I said, I was really upset about something, and I did something silly that could have actually hurt somebody else. And that was not smart. That was not wise. And I'm sorry that I could have harmed you. And she just looked at me. She's like, it's okay, Mom.
Aww.
I forgive you. And I can't tell you, like, if you're vulnerable enough in that moment, and another kid might have just been like, I don't remember. I don't know what you're talking about. And, the way we didn't get the big, end of sitcom moment where there's tears and hugging, right? The fact that I know who she is as a person, I know she's paying attention. I know that she's 4, and that these are really impactful. And she knows if the energy's, like you said, energy is off in the house, right? It's my responsibility. This might be more of a Dr. Becky thing too, that it's my responsibility to be very verbal and very vulnerable about, that's not a good moment. That wasn't a good choice, was it? And throw myself on the sword, right?
Right. That's hard to do. Good for you.
Yeah, see, I was gonna say, I think that's what it is. Like, there is, I'm sure you're noticing there's different states of vulnerability. I don't have a boy. I think that's probably another, what's that like? Is that a different parenting?
They are different. part of it might be birth order. I can't quite tell yet, he's just so much more, he doesn't think before he does stuff. He loves to jump off stuff. He'll go down this tallest slide on the playground head first on his first time. And my daughter will walk back down the steps. No, I'm good. So they have totally different personalities. I also can't tell, is that more of a girl to take more thought of that might actually injure me, and more of a boy to be more daring? I don't know. I think that might be more birth order. It's just fascinating to see his brain where he's been like lining up all of his puzzle pieces. He doesn't do the puzzles. He just puts them in a line, and he loves, he got Magnetiles last month for his birthday. And they're like, he might be a little young yet. And I mean, he's just building something every day, to where yesterday, I love this story. My husband went in to see what he was building, and it was like, whatever, little tower. Yeah. And he was like, this is great. And he went to touch it, and it all collapsed. And my son was like, and he had a little meltdown. And so then my husband came out to the kitchen, whatever, and he went back in a little bit, and my son had rebuilt it. And he said, you don't
he's resilient.
touch. He told my husband, you don't touch. I thought it was so funny. Yeah, that he couldn't. His dad had ruined his tower. So I don't know what is more boy or girl. They both love to dance. I'm not sure. And I don't know if it takes a different parenting style yet.
Do you think you have two different styles? Yeah. I was like, do you feel like you style or actually approach them differently?
I feel bad because you are a different parent on the second child than you are on the first, because you know so much more.
There are a lot more Band-Aids this time around. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're a lot more comfortable. I think what we're going through with Amara not going into her dance classes, our oldest, or the soccer. Yeah. I think by the time the third child gets here, I'll know what to say, because she'll come over and tell me how she's feeling. And I have to think, okay, what's the best thing to tell her in this moment to help her through? I hope by the third, like right now, it takes a lot of thought. Always with the first, it's always something new with her. And the second, you're like, I've been here before. I've been through this tantrum. Here's how we handle it. And here, it's not as earth shattering the second time around. So you parent that differently. And I don't know that it's boy versus girl.
That's a good question. I mean, do you see them being different people? Can you see that they're different people?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's where, like, how early do you think you started to see your son's personality, or is it just now coming out?
He was so different from the beginning in that he was just such a relaxed and chill baby. He'd sleep through whatever. He was really relaxed. And then about 9 months in, it all changed, and he became the more rambunctious one, it seemed, because my mom loves to laugh at us. She's like, what happened to your calm and relaxed baby? Now, he didn't sleep through the night till I don't even remember now, but it seemed like it was a little over a year. Whereas my daughter, by like 2 months, you have her sleep trained, and your son, you're like, well, I'll just get up and feed you one more time. Your boundaries are different. I don't know.
For me, one time turned into 6, sometimes, because I'm like, that's when she's comfortable. That's when she's hungry. It's funny
that we do that. Sometimes you're like, let me just feed you.
It is. No, I agree. It's like, I know that this, So that's a really good question. I think having 3 kids requires more support. Is that something like you feel like you've worked in? Yeah.
That was a major reason for making the career change right now. I will say it started, I've been thinking about it for 5 years or so, because the broadcast industry is changing. There would be college students who would come through for a tour, and they love the live TV aspect. You have all the cameras, and you're in the studio. Like, how do I get here? How do I get started? I was like, you don't even need this place. Go start your own YouTube channel and make money there. So I would say I would say it a little better than that, because this is their dream. So I don't want to hurt them. But the audience has shifted away from your traditional broadcasting the role. Even they are having to. That's what our industry was in. How do we get viewers again? We're creating our own apps, or we're trying to stream put things on YouTube, our clips. So I'd always tell the like, you can go do that. You actually don't need this studio anymore. You can do this on your own. So it was kind of where my mentality was. There were a lot of changes at the end of last year, and at my station in particular. And I thought, this just really doesn't work for my family. And it
was
was
a natural pivot.
I think if I was younger in my career, it was kind of a bigger role at the station. I was like, oh no, I'm good.
Yeah.
I want to do more. I like the show I'm on. I just want to. And so I was kind of like, maybe I need to start going down the entrepreneurial route, because it's also where my passion is, to be able to set your own goals and see as hard as you work, see that succeed. It's always been part of me. So part of it was the industry change. Part of it was then now we're pregnant with our third. I can barely get enough vacation time to take off. And not to mention, it's just hectic and crazy when you have to have a live show in a few hours, but your son has hand, foot, mouth. And so you actually have to be here because no one else can be here because they don't want to get it. You know, I understand. And I want to be here when he's sick. So for me,
it's important.
It was making that pivot now for the third child before the baby was here. To try to make sure
feels like a natural pivot, right? Yeah, as I say, it's like once you know you're about to shift, what's in your entrepreneurial sort of idea or like web right now?
Exactly. Well, I was doing a lifestyle show, so I brought you on. I brought people to talk about mom subjects and cooking and whatever. And I thought, I can do this off air. I'm doing it, even if the kids are around. They've been part of. Last week we did a collaboration with Aunt Pizza. We did one with Disney. They released Lilo and Stitch. So my kids are like part of the content in some ways. And I can do it on my own hours too. So with my son being sick last week, I took him to the doctor. That took up most of the day Monday. My daughter had soccer at night. So it's once they're in bed, now let me go work on this content to post, instead of having to say, all right, everyone's got to arrange around my 3:00 live show. We've got to somehow make this work, which is stressful for my husband who runs his own business. And so it was, for me, just the best, calmest way to enter baby number 3, where at least I control my schedule. And it is one reason I've done health coaching for years. Someone said, are you back into it? I was like, I don't know, because I don't really want the time commitment of, I have 4 clients from 10 to 2. And now I feel like I'm back into, I got to cancel this. I got to reschedule. And I want to see what it's like to have a little bit more flexibility first. Maybe eventually could go back into more of a set time schedule. It just doesn't seem like right now it's not what I wanted to jump out and immediately get myself tied into.
It's hard not to, though, right?
It is.
It's hard not to. If that's always been your pace, you're like, let me just segue into this.
Right.
It's hard to sit, right? It's hard to,
Well,
feel
I'm
your way through something
finding
new.
the other things that I can do that don't require that. And there's a lot out there. It's pretty amazing. So I've been really motivated and excited since taking the career change, I suppose. I was trying to read, what's the book? Maybe I can look it up. It was about,
we need a book. We need a book club. I feel like we keep
your power pause. And it was about moms leaving the workforce to stay home. And I read about half of it. It was my first book that I downloaded for when I drop them off at daycare and come home after I've made this shift. And I thought, I'm not relating to this at all, because I'm not actually, I don't feel like I'm pausing or downshifting. I feel like I'm gearing up to actually what I've always wanted to do. And so I thought, I don't actually relate to this. I want more flexibility to be there for my kids, but a career is still a big part of me. So I want to figure out, how do I have a career and feel fulfilled in that way, while I can still take care of my kids and be there and take them to their after school activities. And I know it's hard to have it all, but I'm really trying.
Well, I think that's the big conversation today too. So is that, what does that look like? What is having it all look like? I loved coming on your show. I loved answering the questions. I guessed you were pregnant, but I was like, that is the worst thing you could say to somebody you just met. But it was one of those things where, like, you were so excited. You have so much energy. And you are really good in just following that excitement and like letting that excitement with the ability to kind of push out other voices. Because you're right. Somebody else reading that book would use that as an opportunity to say, you know what, I'm just not doing enough. I'm not doing enough, right? I should be following what this person's doing. That's how I measure up my success. And you're really good about thinking about it, processing it, and saying, you know what, that's not for me. That's not my chapter right now. So you can do it all. You literally, and you are a testament to this, woman of the year, but we'll get back to that later. But like,
but it's not true.
You're a testament. It's like, not yet. There's a testament to you being this beacon of light, in that you are doing all these incredible things. You can do the things you want to do. You just have to like value map for what you're doing the second you are pregnant. You are months away from giving birth. Starting a new business outside of, putting this together and making a 9-to-5 schedule off of the air doesn't work. And you are so strong and so smart to say to yourself, hey, I know the chaos of being in the wheel feels normal to me, but this is not productive.
Right. It has felt good. I will say, I thought about not returning on air after my second maternity leave, but my husband was just starting to build his business. And so we thought this might not be the right time for me to not go back. And I was carrying the insurance because he's doing his own thing, the entrepreneur world. And so we said, let's wait. He is a brilliant man and has built a very successful business in 2 years. So it really has given our family the ability for me to, okay, let me go start something that will also need to be built. But oh, by the way, you're 6 months pregnant. And so you are going to be on like a maternity leave. Like, I don't know how much time coming in January you can invest right into the business. And so but then I'll do the daycare drop-offs. Like, we're just trying to figure that out. But having him as the like, okay, he's got this part figured out, has allowed me to do more. And we're kind of shifting into those roles a little bit, which is why I think the third will be interesting, because I don't know how the weekends really will
Oh, right. You're going to knock out of the park as you always do.
It'll be like another, like when Kai came along, it's just, you come along with the chaos. I already know that to get out the door is going to take 30 minutes. So what's one more baby and who won't fight me yet to put on shoes and socks and all.
Oh God, that's my favorite time.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, just put the shoes on.
I know.
Right. Yeah. I think, you're a family of creators, it sounds like, because your husband's doing the YouTube
each other too in that way. Yes. Yeah.
You have that in common, and have you always had that common goal where you're sort of both about?
Right. Our first date, we met at the station where I used to work. He came in to host the morning show. And on one of our first, it was like a non-date, but it became a date kind of situation. He was a comedian. He was introducing me to comedy. We went to a comedy show. We went to dinner before. Yeah. By the end of the night, it was like, oh yeah, now we're dating. Anyway.
Yeah.
At that dinner, we talked about you're on television and what that means to people and how people react to you because of that. And no one I'd ever talked to before understood it like he did in that moment. And it was a mutual thing. You understood. Yep. Sometimes people's motives aren't because they actually want to talk to you. They want to be on TV or whatever. And we got that right away. And so I do think that helps a lot, that I understand his entrepreneurial ambitions, his desire to speak truth and share his opinions and content create. And so that does help that we get each other in that way, and that you understand the pressure of the entrepreneurial world. And to be honest, I've been kind of like what did someone call me? Like the COO,
sounding board. Go ahead.
I think I was the operating officer. I have no idea.
You've got a tech background.
Or while he was, so I did. I was like an MSJ. It's also kind of my world. Nice. So when he was building his YouTube channel, that I was kind of, was able to help, and he needs more help. He's hired several employees now, but it was also a chance for me to be like, all these tasks that I've been doing for you, let me actually do them better. Cause a lot of things would fall through the cracks, and like, let me not have a full-time job where I can also help your business. So that's what we're doing right now.
That's incredible. That's incredible. And just the way the two of you pivot like that, right? Like where you're just like, let's throw a new kid in the mix. Let's change job situations. But like the level of support that you're offering each other, that's huge. Helpful, right? I think, and maybe that's the key to success too in some of these regards, right? As we're pivoting and we're changing. I know when I coach clients sometimes and there's like a big pivot in their life, a lot of these things start to like shake loose, right? Like the dynamic we have with our kids or our husband or whatever the case may be. And it sounds like you guys are great at communicating. Maybe that's the key here, right? Is like communicating and seeing these things, working together as a team, because if you don't have that team frame, it's hard to make these pivots, right? It's really, really difficult because as a mom, your first inclination is just to throw something extra on your shoulders, right?
Yeah.
That's a hard conversation. That's a really important conversation.
Yeah.
If there was somebody listening with us today and they were in that spot, they love the mom thing or whatever the case may be, but they know internally there's a chance that this is a pivot for them. Maybe they didn't make partner, but they're okay being general counsel or whatever the case may be. Do you have advice for them? Is there something you would want them to know?
Mm.
I know you're only a month into this, but
I would say through all the things that we've talked about today, it does look a certain way. And I think you started the podcast with this, like doing it all, super mom. It probably looks that way to a lot of people, but there are a lot of hard conversations behind the scenes. And there are moments when I think, okay, so you are taking the lead on the kids. You never wanted that to be, you wanted equal partnership and everything, but really you are helping his business. You're taking the lead on the kids. That does go through your head. It's not that everything feels like, oh, this is perfect. This is exactly. So there are a lot of behind the scene things that when you see somebody who has taken this leap or who has decided to change and make that pivot, what you have going on is probably exactly what the other person has going on. You're just not seeing it because you're seeing what they're posting on Instagram or talking about in a podcast. So, sorry, my AirPods came.
No.
Did you hear that? No? Okay, it made a big noise.
No. Like the timer's going off. I love occasionally that I hear the dryer like pinging and I'm like, why do we need an entire song going off on the dryer stuff?
That does take forever.
Oh my God. I was like, what is this? The national anthem of what? So I think for us, sorry, like my brain works, but there's no such thing as doing it all. And there's no such thing as doing it all by yourself.
Right.
I think that's the fallacy. I think that's the Instagram filter that everyone's seeing is that we're traveling, we're having fun, we're doing all this by ourselves. They're not seeing those hard conversations at 2:00 in the morning or at 4:00 in the morning. They're not seeing those hard conversations. So there's no right or wrong way to do any of this. But I think what I've learned in the pivot is the comparison problem.
Yes, right.
You can do it all, but what does all mean to you? That is, I think, the takeaway. I think that is the hard piece, and the big piece that you and I can both agree on is if somebody's in that transition, someone feels called to stay home or take a different position on their career in that moment, you're a testament that it can all be done and that maybe you don't have to be on camera, at 3:00 every single day.
Right.
You can do it your way, right? There is a way for you to do it now.
Right.
All right. Top 3 favorite guests on your show of all time, starting with Daffney Allwein.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Number one. Okay, so I'm giving a keynote speech on Friday. I'm actually including, he was probably not my favorite guest, but he's been just somebody that's been in my brain. He was on maybe 2 months ago. He was an 18-year-old app creator. He created an app called Cal AI that you just take a picture of your food and it tells you the calories, protein, fat, whatever.
Okay.
Yes, and it's 90% accurate. So he said it's not going to be 100%, but people stick with it because it's taking a picture of your food and moving on, not having to weigh it and log it. It's just kind of getting a ballpark idea. It really is brilliant. So the speech that I'm giving on Friday is about getting started, regardless of your credentials, how much you've actually studied this, your fear level. Do you belong? Will people see you as a novice and question your credibility? He was 17 years old in high school and said, I need this. Let me create this. He's not a nutritionist. He's not a bodybuilder. And so I keep thinking about him. It's worth a couple $1 million now. And he's just going to college.
That's amazing.
And yes. So the point of that is you got to get over that fear to jump in the pool.
You don't need permission.
Right. You have to start if you don't want to be disappointed down the road, or if you want to be in the ring, you got to make the mistakes, and they might be public, but you have to go. So I've been thinking about him a lot. Probably not my top favorite guest though. Orlando Brown. Well, no, not Orlando Brown. What was his name? Orlando Jones.
Blue
came on.
Jones. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did he do all of his sound effects for you or not? No.
He had sound effects.
Wait, Orlando. Wait, hold on. Orlando.
Maybe I'm not saying the right person.
Is this the? I was like,
let's Google.
Wait, is this the guy from Police Academy?
Police Academy? I don't know.
Okay, well now we got to fact check.
He was in Drumline. I know. Now I'm going to go look it up.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think of the celebrities.
He's an older guy. Older guy?
Well,
younger guy? Because maybe somebody has the same name. I don't want to say
mid-age.
Oh my gosh. Mid-age. He's mid-age. No, this guy, like Police Academy came out in what, like 70s, 80s?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Is it Orlando Jones?
It is Orlando Jones. What was it? Look at that. I don't even know.
That's on your watch list this weekend, by the way. All 17 of the Police Academy movies. They're like, oh my God.
Let's start this again. Yes, he was in that.
Yes, he was on Police Academy. One of my favorite. When we were kids, he was the guy. He was the guy in the movie who did all like the funny sound effects in the movie, and that's the only thing I really remember about him. Is like he could like do voices. Sort of when beatbox was really cool when we were younger, and like you could, in the way that you could like modify your voice to sound like a siren or something else, like that sort of thing.
Right.
All right, Orlando Jones, number 2. Yeah.
I'm really bad at these.
I love it.
So I will say part of my journey on Great Day Washington was through the pandemic. I joined the team in 2019. Yes. In 2020, everything went virtual. So I have interviewed, I can't even think, Carol Burnett. I don't know, like huge people, but they've all been over Zoom, and nothing feels as good. That's probably why Orlando's on the list, is because he came in person. And so that's a little bit more memorable. The creator of the Snoo came on one time, which is the
nice. Oh,
and I was like, Dr. Harvey Karp. I was like, oh my gosh, do you know?
Fangirling. Thank you. Yeah.
My child sleeps in this every night. But so this is a reason that my old co-host loved to do the celebrity interviews. She loved to get, and it was never about that for me. It was about having you on and having the conversations for moms. It wasn't. So that's what it's hard for me to pick a top 3 guests, because it wasn't like, oh, Glenn Close walked in and Snoop Dogg came on before I was one of the hosts. That might have been he was in person. Yeah. So I don't know. Top 3 guests is very hard for me. You might just want to cut this whole part.
No, but it is. I think it's one of those funny things. Like, it's so much. You had such a great experience, and I think that's sort of the reason for the question. Is like, I'm sure that like it was just so much fun. It was such a fun chapter, and you with so much love and in so much integrity. I'm like, I don't have to hold on to that anymore. That's not all that I do anymore. And I think that's sort of the wrap in the fact that like, you're always going to have those guests. You're always going to have those conversations. You're always going to have that experience. And and you get this other chapter too, which is going to be equally incredible. And I'm really excited to see what you do next. And if you don't mind sharing a little link of that amazing speech I know you're going to do on Friday.
Oh,
we'll share that with everybody.
They'd record it. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
We'll see if there's even a recording of it. I'm excited. It's the Washington Women in PR, and I have been booking hundreds of guests for 15 years. So I'm excited to be in the room with all the people who make those pitches and try to help get their clients on. It's a lot of fun.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they became kind of my partners through it all.
They did. And honestly, you are a staple here in Washington, whether you're on screen or not. We appreciate your voice and your energy and just your enthusiasm for this area. We need that. It's not a city. We know it's not a city. It's just a really big town of amazing people who Yeah, I hope everyone gets to experience it. But Ellen, thank you for being on with me. Thanks for flipping it and letting me be the question asker for And
I love this.
Like now I don't feel so bad for my 5 minutes of sweating on camera. Now I'm like 45 minutes of All right. Thanks so much for being with us. And if you guys want to connect with Ellen, and if you want to connect with Ellen or you want to learn more about what she's doing or what's ahead or when the baby shows up in December, you can follow Ellen here. All of her information is going to be available to you in the show notes. Ellen, thanks so much.
Thank you.